What's going on, rock and roll fans? Making another video today. This time I'm going to switch up a little bit, and I want to talk about one of my favorite eras of hair band metal and heavy hard rock and roll. The mid to late 1980s. The hair bands were great till Nirvana came along and put everybody out of work. I specialize in Motley Crue in this genre, but my absolute favorite album is probably Appetite for Destruction. There's some really good stuff out there, but Appetite for Destruction is they just nailed it. So Hollywood Roses, LA band, started. Axl Rose put together a project, blah, blah, blah. I'm not here for a history lesson. Anyway, they end up getting a major deal with Geffen and put out Appetite for Destruction in July of 1987. I would have been 13 years old at the time. So I remember sitting on the front porch of a house, and the very first time I heard Sweet Child of Mine, and it was literally life-changing. I thought, this is one of the most amazing songs I've ever heard. Just that opening riff, which Slash just used as a warm-up lick that they turned into the intro for the song. Amazing. Just absolutely one of those moments where you just remember, I was sitting here, this is what the weather was like. It was just one of those days. And then, of course, MTV helped big time around that time with the Appetite singles that came out. So, needless to say, to this day, one of my very favorite albums of all of the hair bands, and I don't mean hair bands in a disrespectful way, I love hair band music, but it has to be Appetite. I mean, it's right there. I love Shout at the Devil, which of course came out in, I think, 1982, so earlier 80s, but I'm talking late 80s right now. Poison was huge. Motley Crue was in their absolute prime right around that time. 89, Dr. Feelgood came out. So 1987, Guns N' Roses came out nationally and just took over the airwaves. They took over MTV, Paradise City, Welcome to the Jungle. I mean, just Mr. Brownstone. This album just has it all. Great stuff. So what I want to do today is kind of go over a couple of the vinyl releases just to show you what's out there. In case you're kind of on the fence on picking one up, and there's going to be pros and cons, good and not so good, and hopefully it works out. We'll see. So this one here is called Guns N' Roses Self-Destruction, and this is a bootleg. Pretty cool. And if you've not seen this before, you can look it up online. There's the track listing if you want to pause it and check it out. It's a 2-record set in a single sleeve. Just has a red label. You can see it in there. Let me slide it out so you can take a peek. It's a red label. It's a bootleg, like I said. The sound on this, for being demos and stuff that was never ever intended to be put out, is pretty damn good. I actually really enjoy this. There is a cover of Heartbreak Hotel on here, which is, unfortunately, to me, it's garbage. As you can see by all this stuff on the wall, I'm a big Elvis fan, but I love all kinds of music. But when I saw this, I thought, wow, they did Heartbreak Hotel. Let me check this out. It's not very good. But the other stuff is pretty cool. It's really cool to see songs like Paradise City, Welcome to the Jungle, You're Crazy, November Rain, and there's an Aerosmith cover, Mama Can, just to see how these songs developed later. These are, of course, the early versions of them, so that one is pretty sweet. I got it for a pretty good price at a local record store here in Las Vegas where I live. You can find it online, but it's kind of pricey sometimes. I've seen it pop up for pretty high prices. I got this for like 20 bucks, and it's a 2-record set, so you can't beat that. All right, now this one here is just your standard issue Guns N' Roses with the explicit lyrics label on the front. No frills, no gatefold. Has the back cover, the standard back cover, where they're all high as a kite and drunk and look like they have been up for 3 to 4 days, which they probably had been, and probably still in the same clothing. And it's just got your standard Geffen label. Oh, I did forget about this. This is a top loader in the sleeve. You can't load it in this way. It won't fit into the record sleeve. You have to put it in like this, which I thought was interesting. Frustrating at first when I didn't realize it. It's got your Geffen record label, black label, and it says G and R instead of side 1 and 2, which is standard for Guns N' Roses. So this is a pretty cool album. It's just your standard no frills release. Great sound, of course. One of the great classic hair band records of all time. And then this came out a few years ago, and so I had to, of course, pick it up because it's Appetite for Destruction, so why wouldn't I? So again, it's the secondary artwork. This is not the original artwork, if you're a GNR fan, you know this. This is what came out officially, so this is technically the first album artwork, but it's not really. Which you just saw on the inner sleeve there. That was the original intended artwork. And then the same back photo. But it's a gatefold of the original album artwork as intended, that the record label said was too much, too racy. So they opted out of that. This one is pretty cool. It has silver and black labels here on black vinyl. It's got the original album and some extra remixes, things like that. I think, you know what, I don't want to make a mistake and have somebody beat me up on my comments, so let me just make sure. I know it's a double album. No, it's a three-sided. So it's the album, I guess, with the singles, maybe. I don't know. I guess I should do some research before I do this. Anyway, it's great. It's the Guns N' Roses Appetite for Destruction gatefold three-sided album. Let's just leave it at that. And then I'm going to get to the grand finale in a moment, but let me start right here because this one actually kind of pissed me off. When this first came out on CD, I could not wait to get it. I was so excited when they announced this. It just kind of came out of nowhere. The band was suing the label. There was a bunch of shenanigans going on. Guns N' Roses said, we're not the type of band to release a greatest hits. We're not doing it. And then all of a sudden this was announced and it came out. And I was so amped up. And then all the air went out and I was deflated. This is a shit release. It is, and of course I have the vinyl, so I'm a hypocrite. I've always loved Guns N' Roses. There's a bar that I used to hang out in Las Vegas. It's no longer here, but Adler's Appetite, Steven Adler, the drummer that's on most of this album. They say it's all, but probably, let's just say most. Used to go there all the time, not only to play with his band, but just to go and frequent it. I have the Appetite CD here signed with him, his autograph here somewhere in this mess. But so I've loved Guns N' Roses forever, but this is not a greatest hits record. And yes, I bought the CD and I was pissed, but I bought the record too because I just liked the packaging and I wanted it in vinyl. But I knew what to expect. This is Guns N' Roses, the singles collection. And there's other great YouTube videos out there. I'm not stealing anybody's thunder, ripping anybody off. I've watched your videos, and I totally agree with you. This is not the Guns N' Roses greatest hits that we deserve or should have gotten. This is Guns N' Roses, the singles. So if you look at the track listing, it's not their greatest hits. There are several greatest hits that are not on here, and there are singles on here that flailed and died, that didn't do anything, that are on here. So this should be technically the Guns N' Roses singles collection. Beautiful artwork. I love the Guns N' Roses logo or badge or whatever you want to call it. It says greatest hits with the gray. It's nice. There's a hype sticker which I saved and put on here. Great shot of the original band lineup and the track listing down here. There's an unforgivable error in here other than this is the singles collection and not truly the greatest hits. Unforgivable error. How could this release get released and go mass publication with this is beyond me. So it's a gatefold. I could not believe this when I took this out of the shrink wrap and opened it up. So there's all the albums here with what songs were from what album to make up this greatest hits collection, which is the singles collection. But if you look at this gatefold image of the band, the image is reversed. Everybody's playing their instruments the wrong direction. It's a great photo. And it's backwards. How in the hell does that happen? Who didn't catch this? How many people looked at this artwork and let this pass? Unless this was a big FU by the band and it was done on purpose. It very well could be. I would not be surprised with Guns N' Roses that was purposely done. But to have a beautiful gatefold packaging like this in the so-called greatest hits, and you open it up and the image inside is reversed, is absolutely unforgivable. It's just disgusting. It really is. It's terrible. But let's get back to, hopefully one day we'll get a true Guns N' Roses greatest hits and not the singles collection. That thing can go away. All right, now this is just absolutely amazing, but I have some issues with it. I have to take issue. One, the biggest issue is the outside sleeve. On the video, you can just see it black, I'm sure. But on the front, this is the Appetite for Destruction official box set, the big bad one, and it's awesome. The cover, though, is this whole image of the original album just stamped into this cover. The back, which you can't see, is the band logo with trim around it, and I saved the hype sticker and put it here on the back. I didn't want to put it on the front, but you can't see it. It's one of the worst covers I have in any one of my box sets. And here on the spine it says Guns N' Roses Appetite for Destruction, nice printed, but you can't see it. It's raised, but you can't see it. This cover is so disappointing. It's great. It's a great idea, but with no color at all, it just looks plain and flimsy, and it's disappointing. So then you can slide it out. The first thing I'll say is you should have this. If you don't have it, go get it. It's amazing. So let's go over the good stuff first, and then we'll get to the more trivial stuff here. So again, black, and it says Guns N' Roses Appetite for Destruction. Not that you can see it, because you can't. And on the back, there's the Two Gun logo with the roses. Okay, this book is pretty cool. I'm not going to go through every page of it. There's two. Well, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 CDs in here. Let me see, just to make sure I don't want to look like an idiot more than I usually do. Okay, that's a Blu-ray. That's what I thought. Blu-ray audio. So it's the disc in a Blu-ray player that you play in a Blu-ray player for the 5.1 surround sound, and 1, 2, 3, 4 CDs. So it's live stuff. It's the original album, outtakes, all that good stuff. And then there's the book, which I'm just going to quickly flip through. It has posters from the early days. It has tour schedules. It has all kinds of intimate early photos, great shots, album artwork, early artwork from the band, just, show after show, tour schedules, all kinds of cool stuff. Band photos, and it ends with the iconic Guns N' Roses logo. So then it comes with this, which is pretty funny. Confidential LAPD case file, and has all the band members' names and the date and all that stuff, and it's like they've been arrested, and this is their booking folder. So you open this up, and there's some pretty interesting stuff in here. Some pretty cool stuff. Obviously, it's all reproduction stuff. Not that anybody would think otherwise, but just to be clear for the people that aren't keeping up. So this is a nice poster of what was intended to be the original artwork for the Appetite for Destruction album. Okay, so it's a nice poster. We've got some early concert tickets, reproductions, the Troubadour, Guns N' Roses, Welcome to the Jungle, blah, 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 blah. I don't think this one tells where it's at, or maybe it doesn't. I don't see it, and I don't have my glasses on. There's another one, and then there's the alien monster from the album cover, and some dictation on the back, probably talking about that. I can't see, I'm sorry. And let's see, let's get the rest of this out here. Let me get rid of this. I'll pick it up later. So there's 8x10s of every member that's on the album. Pretty cool, pretty cool. Nice. Nice. Adler. Great shot of Axl. Pretty cool. Some temporary tattoos, because who wouldn't want Guns N' Roses temporary tattoos? By the way, if you didn't know, Axl Rose is a huge Elvis fan. Huge. That's probably why Heartbreak Hotel is on there. This tattoo that's on Axl's left arm was taken from Elvis Presley's hat when he was in the Army. You can Google that. Google Elvis Presley, Axl Rose, and you'll see it. So this tattoo was inspired by Elvis's Army outfit. Axl's a huge Elvis Presley fan. This is a reproduction of a Sharpie written poster. Pretty cool for a live show. This is a poster. It's a big giant poster. I don't think I've ever even opened this up, but let me go ahead and do it for the video. It's an early photo of the band. Oh man, look at that. That's cool. This would have adorned somebody's wall in the 80s for sure. It's the band with the iconic Guns N' Roses logo, and it looks like I've got two of them. I do. I have two of them. I don't know if that was a mistake or what. And then there's the track listing. This actually was on the back of the box originally, and I took it off and put it inside. Oh, let me go back because I forgot one thing I wanted to talk about. So this one here, the singles collection, the supposed greatest hits. Pretty cool. One is the album is hard as hell to get in and out. Look, it doesn't want to come out, and it's next to impossible to get it back in. Both records are the same. One side has a shot of the band, which I know you can't see that well, but the other side, let me take it out of here so you can see it better. So one side of each of the two albums is a photo of the band. The other is the Guns N' Roses logo. I will put this album in a headlock later and try to slide this album back in here because it's not easy and I don't want to do it on camera. So there we have it. I just wanted to revisit a little bit with the Appetite for Destruction album. An absolute blasting good time. I love it. It's one of my favorite hard rock albums of all time. I love Shout at the Devil. I love Too Fast for Love. There's a lot of good 80s rock and roll out there. And then Nirvana came in and put everybody out of work, like I said earlier. I actually love Nirvana now. I didn't at the time. I was pissed because they came in and disrupted the whole scene, and then Pearl Jam came in. Anyway, let me get back to the hair bands. So I really enjoy this music. It was really good until it became a little bubblegummy, and they kind of deserved to be put out of a job at a point because it got silly. It got really silly. But when they were in their heyday, there's nothing like Welcome to the Jungle. There's nothing like Paradise City, Brownstone. You know, later on Civil War. You know, there's so much good music from Guns N' Roses. But I just wanted to show you a little bit of the vinyl releases that are available out there, in case you haven't picked one up or didn't know about one, or you were kind of on the fence. Honestly, I would stay away from the alleged greatest hits because it's not. It's the singles, and it kind of dips in quality here and there, and you're going to be missing songs that you wish would be there. Like I said, hopefully we get a true greatest hits at some point. But if you just pick up the original Appetite, you can't go wrong. It's absolutely awesome. If you're invested all the way, pick up the box set. It's worth it. There's a lot of good stuff on there, the alternate takes and live stuff. You know, you'll mainly probably stick to the main album, and that's okay. But and if you run across the Self-Destruction Guns N' Roses bootleg, pick it up. It's pretty cool. But so that's the end of the video today. Appetite for Destruction, one of the best hard rock albums ever, especially from the 80s for sure. July 1987, 13 years old. Changed my life. Love it. All right. I've seen them twice, by the way. Seen them twice here in Vegas. Both times. Awesome. All right. Hope you enjoyed the video. Like, share, and subscribe. Tell your friends. Rock and roll!